Join me as I dive into the unexpected twists and turns of Peter Obi and Governor Alex Otti's shocking reconciliation. For many months, not many knew that there was a cold but silent war brewing between Governor of Abia State, Dr. Alex Otti, and former Governor of Anambra State, Peter Obi. The Cold War had been on for some time, but only a few people knew about it. Only top party leaders of the Labour Party were aware that the two political juggernauts were certainly not on good terms. They barely spoke to each other. They did not reach out to each other in solidarity whenever the need for it arose, but they always managed to be very polite and civil whenever the issue of their Cold War is mentioned. All through the period they were not in good terms. They never insulted each other, and neither did they throw public spats at each other. But the rivalry was there. The hostilities between them was palpable. The inner caucus of both camps knew about this. Their party leadership knew too. But everyone kept sealed lips. It was a matter that was discussed in hushed tones as all efforts to bring them together back then all hit the wall. When the news began to filter several months ago, many people, especially Igbo elites and top politicians from the South East, were growing more concerned about the seeming enmity between two of their illustrious sons. Even top Igbo socio-political group, which serves as the leading voice of the Igbo, also came out to lend its voice to the call for an immediate reconciliation between the two personalities. The Ohanese Ndigbo expressed deep concern over the seeming face-off between the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 elections, Peter Obi, and the Abia State Governor, Dr. Alex Otti. The Apex Igbo group expressed the worrying in a statement by its General Secretary, Mazioki Chukwu Isiguzoro. In the statement issued back then, Isiguzoro said Nigerians, particularly the Igbo community, had keenly observed what appeared to be a brewing silent conflict between Obi and Otti. He said, "It has come to our attention that Mr. Peter Obi was noticeably absent during the recent first-year celebration of Dr. Alex Otti's tenure in office, dated on May 29, 2024. Alarming to all Nigerians is the fact that Mr. Obi's name was excluded from the list of distinguished guests expected to grace the occasion at the State International Conference Centre. Furthermore, Mr. Obi has failed to extend public congratulations to Governor Otti on his inaugural year as the Governor of Abia State, indicating a lack of unity and camaraderie within the ranks of the Labour Party." Isiguzoro said Ohanese Ndigbo had patiently waited to see if Obi would rectify the situation by extending a heartfelt congratulatory message to Otti during the commemoration of the 25th anniversary of Nigeria's democracy on June 12, 2024. But this did not happen. Rather, he said it was evident that Obi's participation in state functions has been minimal, his name omitted from official lists of dignitaries, and his images neglected in Abia State's event publications for both the May 29th and June 12th events. He added, "It is apparent that a gap exists between Mr. Obi and Governor Otti, with the latter failing to engage Mr. Obi in the commissioning of any projects within the state under the Labour Party's governance." While it is unclear yet what the real cause of the Cold War between Peter Obi and Governor Alex Otti is or when it began, city people found out that things certainly started going awry between them last year. Shortly after Governor Alex Otti emerged Governor of Abia State, it was being reported and circulated at the time that Governor Alex Otti needed to be reminded that he would never have been able to dislodge the PDP in Abia State and put an abrupt end to their 24-year reign in the state. The rumour mills insinuated that Peter Obi was not happy that Alex Otti had not given him, Obi, and the Labour Party full credit for his victory, more so considering that he, Alex Otti, was formerly with APGA. It was in reaction to this speculation that the governor, in what was obviously a direct response, made it clear that with or without Peter Obi, he would probably have the governorship election anyway. According to Otti, it's on record that he won the 2015 governorship election in the state without Obi's support. Otti said, "In 2015, when I ran under APGA, there was no Peter Obi, and we have it on our record that I won that election. At the time we were joining Labour Party, Peter Obi had not joined. It took about a week before called me and said that he purchased the presidential nomination form and he was coming to Labour Party. We were prepared to fight the way we fought in 2015. The votes we garnered in ABIA could have been had, but maybe the margin could have been smaller. That is why it's always good to acknowledge. Peter Obi, he came to ABIA about 4 times to campaign for us. I think he had done well for us. That is why even the first election out of the 8 House of Representatives seats, we took 6 and sent some people on permanent retirement. Peter Obi is a great addition to our campaign, but I can tell you that we won an election before in ABIA without him. This statement, according to insiders, irked Peter Obi and his supporters, who felt he demeaned their political icon and refused to give him credit for his contributions to Alex Otti's eventual victory. They insist that he, Alex Otti, rode on the back of the Peter Obi tsunami that swept several parts of the country last year during the polls and would never have emerged governor if not for Peter Obi, and from this point, things have gone downhill between the two, though they will be the first to acknowledge publicly that all is well between them. But the good news is that, somehow, these 2 gentlemen appear to have buried whatever the hatchet between them was, and have resolved to be friends and political allies. Political observers, who had been closely monitoring the situation between these 2, said it was the crisis within the Labour Party that provided the opportunity for of them to make up and move on. The 2 of them were both heavily involved in the reconciliation attempts made by party faithful to bring together all the warring factions within the Labour Party, and one way or another, they had to work together and put their differences aside. This became obvious when Peter Obi had released a statement at a time saying, "As part of my ongoing efforts to encourage reconciliation and unity within our ranks, Labour Party, I held a productive meeting with the NLC Political Commission today. At the all-important meeting, I reiterated my earlier appeal for us to put aside our differences and work together in a spirit of harmony and mutual understanding. I also emphasized the importance of moving forward with a shared sense of purpose and vision." Following the meeting, I also had a fruitful discussion with Governor Alex Otti, updating him on my engaging in constructive dialogue. Our conversation laid the groundwork for future collaboration and progress. In the coming days, we will convene a more comprehensive stakeholders meeting, bringing together a broader representation of interests and perspectives. On his own part, the ABIA State Governor-elect, Chief Alex Otti, has said that those trying to twist his statement about having won an election in the past when he and his friend and presidential candidate of Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, were not in the same party, do not know the extent of their relationship and virility of their bond, which he described as unbreakable and evergreen. Reacting to a trending report quoting him as saying that, "I had won election in the past without Peter Obi," Otti described the report as headline-induced, journalistic sensationalism geared towards driving social media traffic and drawing needless controversy that would keep the promoters busy. According to the ex-bank chief in a statement by Special Advisor Media and Publicity, Mr. Ferdinand Ikiyama pointed out that the LP presidential candidate will be laughing at those behind the story. He stated, "Obi knows and understands my personality and knows that I holds him very high, and thus would be laughing at those that twisted my statement in a manner it would look like a denigration of him. That I almost lost the APGA governorship ticket in 2019 in ABIA was because I had the audacity to defend Obi publicly when I presented facts of evidence to prove that he left the money he claimed to have left behind in Anambra's treasury while leaving office as governor. This was against the denial by the then Anambra state government." Again, my This Day column of June 8, 2020 captioned, "The triumph of profligacy over prudence was used to celebrate Obi and his leadership style. As we were not in the same party then, there was no better way to prove that my love, support and appreciation of Okwut has nothing to do with politics. I'm sure he would be laughing over this report, because he's smarter and thus understands the agenda, those circulating the distorted portion of my interview. Obi and I have unbreakable bond. Therefore those trying to use a news headline to bury the substance of my analogical submission, which was made to respond to a question and explain that, outside the massive impacts of the Obi wave, we are on ground in ABIA and had won elections twice in the past, are either being misled or are outrightly mischievous.